So how is everybody doing?
I'm good.
Right. Let's get right into the news.
We are live.
Sick.
Thank you guys for coming to the Fireside Chat. Oh, let me make the announcement real quick.
Hi, Daddy Patty.
Ooh, what announcement?
Hello.
Oh, that the Fireside Chat is live.
Oh,
That's
dang, I'm always
The
hoping.
announcement. Everyone who joined this channel is now banned permanently.
No, we already got the big announcement. So obviously, congrats to Rand, the new Jarl. There he is. So Rand's taking over as Guardians of Rand. If you hadn't seen that in Obsidian Hall, that was announced. So yeah, that's the big news for today, really.
R.I.P. Fold.
Did Fold step down or something?
Yeah.
No, I thought I made it very obvious. I just beat him out of it.
He beat himself out of it being
Well,
below equity.
So
congrats,
can we
Rand.
change it to Guardians of Rand now?
Rip.
Wow, those Chad Danes.
Oh my god, I never realized it fitted.
There's so many people in here, man. It's gonna get so confusing so fast.
You'll get used to it.
I won't. I'm not that smart.
So yeah,
Alright.
we've got Rand as the new Jarl. We've also got. So there's kind of a lot of
Like,
stuff.
I'm like already confused. He just started talking and I'm like, shit.
Go on, Vest.
Anyway, so yeah, we've got Rand the new Jarl. There's kind of a lot of stuff that came out, sort of over the last few days, like some handbook updates, that kind of thing, updating the rules, all that kind of stuff. Then we've got new Dippity traditions, the relics and the ancestral names, and those are posted up. So pretty excited about those. So now Dippity has some traditions unique to our house, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you see the colored borders around people's avatars in Discord that me and Anarian have, that is the relics, or part of it. There's more information for that on the forums, which, again, I'm kind of trying to, like, get them back into use, like, a little bit, I think would be cool. Part of that is why I've got the codexes on there for each of the warbands, where they can kind of archive events and write stories and stuff for their codexes and all that kind of stuff, and that's all in the forums. I did also add, there is, this was Pado's idea really, but it's going to be sort of a group storytelling kind of thing where I start a story where it's like in the WA lore, you know, I hand out like a mission to the Jarls or something and they pass it down to the warbands or something like that, and so it keeps going on where people add to the story that way. That's going to be kind of a way for everybody to kind of get into the lore a little bit, but at the same time, I think one of the advantages is it's not going to be like, oh, you have to write like a 10-page story or something. So if you're, you know, not super into writing, you don't like it or something, but you want to just like try it a little bit, is kind of that option, I think. So I'll try to like start that up. There's already a subforum up, but I'll try to actually make some posts in that soon. Probably when I'm back from LOA. I'm gonna be gone a couple of days. Let's see. Oh, so the thing I'm working on right now is marks, and I'm not going to say I've made a ton of progress, but if you look under the cipher category, under marks, I'm trying to update those. I added, 5 new marks, I think? I have to find it. 6, actually. So there's 2 for Warframe, and then 2 for the Hjor thing, and 2 for the Yarn, right? So those competitions, so there's marks for those now. And then, I'm trying to update everyone's mark boards, kind of going from the top down as far as where they are. So my goal is at least for everyone Berserker and up to have one regardless, and then anybody else, I'm totally happy to make one if they request it. There's already a few in there for people that are not Berserker and up, but just because they take a little bit of time, I think saying that I need to make one for all, you know, 129 people in WA might be too much to ask, but.
So I might be missing something. What's a mark?
Yeah. I don't know what that is either.
So if you go to the Marks Gallery channel, it's near the bottom. It's under Cipher. Actually, it's just like 3 channels up from this voice channel. Basically, marks are like honors in WA. It used to be that they would be something you had in your forum, below your forum signature is where they'd show up. but they've kind of changed a little bit over time. Currently, they're not on the forums because the only like award plugin for our forum software has not been updated for the latest version of the forums, so it's like not compatible right now. But at the very least on Discord, which is where most people are anyway now, basically you can get, if you scroll down in that Marks Gallery channel, you can see a bunch of different members have like a background image and then various marks, which are just like awards for, you know, stuff they've done. And at the very top of that channel, there is like a visual guide that shows pictures of all the marks and explains what they are. And then right below that, there's like a more detailed, just like big text document that goes in a little bit further on like exactly how to get them, because some of them are like a little bit more general. Like if you see some that are called like emblems, or yeah, mostly the emblems is probably the one where they're sort of like general accomplishments in certain areas. Like for example, the emblem of Forsetti is awarded for demonstrating maturity, patient, and wise judgment. So that's super general. The text document goes into a little bit more detail there, but mostly all the emblems are like pretty rare marks, so they're sort of like in the same general area as like getting a title in the clan or becoming a saint or something like that, where they are really, really impressive accomplishments, and so they don't really get awarded very often. But I actually did, if you look at Obsidian Hall, just award 4 of them. Yeah, what was that? Yesterday. But yeah, I try to, and I probably went too long between awarding them. Like, I mean, I'm not giving out every day, but I think I kind of have been procrastinating everything to do with marks, so I'm trying to play catch up right now. So yeah, those are there, and if you want a mark board, just let me know. Right now, I am already in the process of updating them, like I said. So yeah.
So every berserker gets one.
Yeah, my intention is to make one for everyone rank berserker and up, regardless, and then anybody below that rank, if they want one, I can make one, but they just have to let me know.
Can I just mention for the Marks Gallery, the pictures with the descriptions next to them doesn't have the name of them,
Yeah.
which is a little weird looking through them to see like which ones someone has.
Well, the text document below there has their names, but
Yeah, but then that doesn't have the pictures. So like when you look at someone's banner, it just shows the image. So then you go over to the images to see which image they have and which prerequisites it lists, and then you go over to the list of what they're called and which prerequisites they have to match up which ones someone actually has, instead of just one thing of the image with the prerequisites with the name of it.
yeah.
Like if you want to have the images, maybe match the image to the name and not the image to the prerequisite, and then list the names to the prerequisites. Because as it is, you have to reference multiple things to just find out which mark somebody has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess
That is
that's
true.
kinda
I can work on adding that.
I mean, it'd be really simple if you wanted to like task literally anybody to do that, to just like reformat the text document so that the images are next to them. I don't want to make you super busy.
No, I'm already working on marks anyway. I don't think that would take too long. But that's a good point. Okay.
Like I'm going through mine and I'm like, okay, which image is this one? And then I'm scrolling through all of them trying to find that one image of what looks like a cup. And then I find the one that has the cup, and then I write the description, and then I go over to the reference document and find out which one that actually is.
Oh, also,
First Imperium era is that one.
Also, I have officially been WA as of this month for 9 years.
Congrats.
Hey, there you go.
nice.
All in.
Been a long time.
Yeah, it's a long.
Did you were you AFK for any of that, or like away from the clan?
What does that matter? Why are you trying to take away my achievement?
Well, I'm just wondering for myself, because that would mean this December would be 9 years for me.
And you've been in for 9 years, man. Well, I ain't gonna take that away from you.
All right, well,
9
that works.
years?
That works.
Yep. You know, your recruitment day is your recruitment day. You know, you can't change that.
Alright, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, I know. That's something for a while where there is sort of a question of like for the year marks and stuff. Like, does it count like how many days you're in the clan? And I've always been doing it where it's just how long has it been since your recruitment date.
So
Just-
in all matters of how long you've been in the clan, it's always down to your recruitment date, not when you returned or whatever.
Yeah, that's how I've been doing it. Just because I don't know. I think it makes sense. Like, we've kind of got this emphasis on lineage and stuff, and like, you know, you're recruited, then you're in that house, you're in that family forever. So it's kind of like, I don't know. I kind of view it that way. Like, your recruitment date is kind of like a
All right.
cool day that is.
But
just...
there is that mark for people that are like were around and then gone and then come back and contribute significantly. Like that, I think that's a really good method of bridging the gap.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
I think the only reason someone's like years or time of service should change is if they were like exiled but allowed back in for whatever reason.
Yeah,
rip me,
possibly.
take the
Although I
month
guess,
off.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I haven't done that yet. Although I don't think there's many people I can even think of. But
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, it's just the only way I could see making an argument for it.
No.
Because they weren't officially in the clan anymore.
Yeah, that's true. You could make some case for that. I have not done that yet, though, or had a desire to.
Right.
So let's see what else we've got here. Not a whole lot. That's kind of the big thing. Of course, new Jarl and just some handbook updates. Recruitment
Best.
guide is out. Yeah.
Best, you did it again.
I was saying that there's not a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's just a meme at this point.
30
Right.
minutes later.
I think the recruitment guide came out after the last Fireside chat, but I can't actually remember. But anyway, that's out in rules. Oh, and there's a little I made like a little graphic in there in rules that hopefully can help if people are explaining stuff to recruits. That just kind of shows how we've got like two methods of keeping track of people, basically. Where you've got on the one side, that's like the ranks, the chain of command, you know, duties, all that stuff is there. You know, you've got the two great companies and then their war bands that are under them. And then the other side is just houses and families, which is just for tracking lineage, like the cultural side of things. So I just thought it'd be handy. I found like a 10-year-old picture that I think Dane or somebody made for WA, like along the same lines, and I was like, oh, we should have one of these. So now we do.
I guess I could kind of talk like, so now that I'm Jarl of the Guardians of Rand, I don't want to say anything bad about Full Mather, but definitely here for a long time. There's been like a bunch of stale stuff, stalemates, like not much has, you know, kind of gone in the way. So I think now that I am Jarl, I'm going to try my best to get things back on track. So we've done really well with recruitment, stuff like that. So, but besides recruitment, we've been lacking everywhere else, such as warband cultivization, lore, getting people into the places they need to be, stuff like that. So as the new Jarl of Guardians of Rand, I'm going to start doing my best to get people more enthusiastic, or a different way to put it is try to get people where they need to be and how to help get them there. So Guardians of Rand right now, I believe currently does not have any Thanes or Huskarls, and we've had the same people, or it has no Thanes and Hersiers. And so one of my goals is to get people in those positions, get those positions filled, and start looking out for more people who are interested in Huskarlship.
Sounds good.
I know there's a lot of candidates that we have, a lot of people who have kind of been looked over, stuff like that. And if you're one of those people, I am aware of the contributions you're making. And we're going to start looking at getting people promoted, not for the sake of just doing that, but because there's a lot of positions unfilled that I think can be filled.
Yeah, that did pop into my head though. Pato certainly has been chugging out a good amount of lore, I think.
Right. I mean, like I said, I don't want to knock on you for that, but it can definitely be better, and it can have more participation. And so that's why I want to work on getting as much participation as possible. you know, the Outriders is a good system, and it has you know a much larger capacity than the amount of people who are being who are participating in it.
Yeah, well, I would definitely love to see, all the war bands, create things like the Outriders or otherwise, just find more of a niche, find more character, and be able to draw people in more to the point that people, care about them more. And I know I've talked about that a lot, but yeah, I think making that happen would be awesome. And hopefully, part of that can be the warband codexes, which there's like a guide in the forums on how to set them up and everything too. But my hope is that will just kind of provide a way to, we'll get more forum use for one, but also just to, I don't know, just kind of honor all the people in the warband and kind of, yeah, like I was saying before, just give them more of a character and that kind of thing, hopefully.
Right, right. And so the Outriders is for the Un's favorite. So that means there's two more war bands I'm looking at. One being Frostguard and the other being Bronze Watchers. I've worked with Bjorn Starner a lot, so I'm not worried about that. But I haven't spoke with Conan Gormer a lot lately, and so I'll be making more attempts to kind of work with him and kind of get Frostguard to where we want it to be. There's a lot of great potential members in that war band who are being looked over. Now, I'm not just saying that because they're a part of my house, stuff like that, but that war band has a lot of untapped potential that I want to start looking at, and I appreciate help from everyone to getting that place to where it needs to be. I want everyone to remember that we are all still WA here, and just because we're not in each other's great companies does not mean that we cannot help each other out. So, to the people of the Aegir who are here, who ever want my help or who need some kind of guidance or just another body, always come see me. I want you all to kind of think like, I'm here to help you guys too. So for anyone in the Aegir who would like to come out and help us or who want us to come over and help you, do not hesitate to ask, because I am more than willing to get the whole clan rolling as much as possible. That's why I'm in your guys' channels too. Hint, hint. Aside from that, like I said, Huron's Watchers, we're going to also be trying to strap down on our codexes as well. That's one thing that I love seeing. There's been, I believe, some work on it from Padomania. He was working with Fold Mather on that, I believe, so hasn't been working with me directly. So now I'd like to start getting with all you Huskarls and work on the codexes. Things I'm wanting to see, as I spoke to Bjorn Starner about, was I want professionalism, cleanliness, and up to date on our codexes. So when we start working on those, what I mean by professionalism, just making it a format that is easy to read and easy to get. And by easy to read, I want it to be very cleanly, no typos, stuff like that. I want it to be able to get by all members. So a format such as what's that one that you use for your PDFs of the announcements for the rules?
PDF.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know, but I've never made one myself, so that's why I didn't know where to go to make
a Word
it.
document, you convert it to PDF. It's really easy.
Yeah, you can export it as a PDF, and what I do is I upload it to Imager, and on Imager it just basically just makes it an image. It's like PhotoBucket, except you don't have to pay $300 a year to host it other places.
All right.
And that's what's in rules is the Imager links, which show up with the preview, and then I just upload the actual PDFs too, in case people want to download them.
Okay. So, like I said, I want it to be a format that will be able to be read by everybody. And also something else I was kind of wanting to do with the codexes is cover art. So if there's any talented artist who can make some kind of PNG or graphic for the very first page of the codex, it makes it look like some kind of book or an actual codex, that would be amazing. That'd shoot the professionalism through the roof that I'm wanting to see.
Hey Rand, just a suggestion, since you have just become a Jarl and you seem to have ideas. How about we organize a Jarl Huskarl meeting with all of the Husk girls for Ran.
Mm.
So you can relay your ideas to us.
Well, I do want to have meetings. One of the things I talked to Bjornstarner about is having at least a bi-weekly meeting. Either it can be followed, it could start before or after the Fireside. That seems to be a really good time that a lot of people are on. Everyone expects, Thursdays to be meeting day already, for the Fireside. So my biggest suggestion would be to have a meeting before or after, and so that way you'll have at least a decent participation from your warband, who will also follow to the Fireside. And we always want as many people participating in the Fireside as possible. That is like the essential way that a lot of our members here are getting their information of what's happening inside of WA.
Oh, just a random thought I had. Rand, are you okay to write the sit rep for today? I just realized because.
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
sit rep day.
I asked Fold Master about, okay, so now that I just became like Jarl, what needs to happen next? And he said something like he gave me like a long list, like long wall of text that I need to deconstruct. He says, it says in the handbook, I was like, oh shit, man, come on.
Yeah, well,
I don't read that handbook.
Well, I will throw out. So we've had some confusion and stuff, I think, about the boards of review actually this week. So I know a couple Huskarls were using different formats, or weren't on the same page with that. So, and I think that this was our first time doing the new. Yeah, this was the first time. So we have a new setup basically, and I had announced this before when I changed it in the handbook like a week or two back. But basically, how it works right now is the Huskarl. From Sunday night until Tuesday night, midnight to midnight PST, is when the Huskarl, at some point during those 48 hours, should write up a border review. So for everyone in their warband, they just copy they just look at the requirements in the handbook for whatever rank they have, and they just do like a check mark or some kind of system. They say, are they meeting them or are they not meeting them for each member? And then if they think somebody should be promoted, then they should look at the requirements for the next rank. And do that for that member too, and then include their comments wherever necessary. It's basically, and that's all listed in the handbook too. And that should either be done. There's each Huskarl has their own warband border review channel on Discord. Although for Soulites, he actually has created just group direct messages where the Huskarls can do them there. So then that format should all be done for the border reviews by that Tuesday night. And then the idea is that all the officers who can see all the border reviews then go look at, the Huskarls' evaluations and everything, and make their comments and stuff and whatnot, and talk about it. And that conversation goes on until Thursday, when the Jarl will post the situation reports and finalize the promotions and stuff. So that's kind of the format, and yeah, has not gone perfectly this week. But I think. I think it has some advantages over what we were doing before. It should give everyone more time to get everything done and all that. So hopefully we can get that rolling smoothly by next time at least.
All right. Now again, so if there's any Huskarls or anything like that right now who would like to suggest anything to me, the things that you have seen lacking, so is there anything like that you guys want to bring up real quick?
I think you're hogging our Fireside for your company.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my major complaint.
What I
This is
missed?
my Fireside. That link he sent for
Disagree. The Twitch video stream says Hiking's Fireside chat in like size 200 font.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that won't stop me because I can't read.
Oh wow.
Just
No
what you
wonder he
want
was
on here.
proposing a new thing that everyone can read.
Right. And then I just can't read myself.
You should make a new rule vest written that everyone needs to be able to read.
I'll record myself saying that and put that in rules as like a little audio file.
Well, no, you need to write it down. So
Do
so we have to
Braille.
read it.
Do Braille.
Just like run your hand along this computer screen.
The dots are angry.
Every other language but English.
I mean, we were saying illiterate, not blind, but I guess.
Right. Also, Vest. So we were talking about doing the welcome to your house kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
What if we started doing even more? So what if we started doing welcome to your family stuff?
I think if any family wants to make something like this, fine. I don't know if I want to make that mandatory. Because I mean, the house intro packets are actually pinned in rules. Still waiting the Dane one actually, but the other three are there, and the idea is that those are really easy to link when you're recruiting. But I think I'm open to family ones maybe being pinned in like the house subforums and or house Discord channels, something like that, where they could look at it. But
How many pins are allowed to be seen? A lot. Okay.
I think it's infinite, or maybe not, but I feel like it's at least like 20 or something. But yeah, I didn't want rules to get like too crowded. I feel like it's already like it's probably a good size right now. Sad no, but I think it's definitely a good idea as far as just giving more info to recruits, because I think it's probably a good point that the recruits. I think something a lot of new recruits latch on to is their house and family. Like if they like learn a little bit about them and they think it's cool. Like, oh, here's the history of this house really briefly. And then it's kind of cool to know that you're a part of that too. I think not necessarily everybody, but I think it's something cool. So I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
What is this house? Welcome to your house thing that I'm hearing about?
Oh yeah, so I just have, and it's mentioned in the recruitment guide, and I believe in the handbook. I'm not 100% sure, but if you look in the rules channel,
by Flowrunner, right?
Sorry, what?
It's a song by Flowrunner. Welcome to my house.
Yes.
Jeez.
But yeah, so the links to those threads are on the forums are pinned in rules. There's just one for every house. There should be one for Dane soon, hopefully. And the other three are there, and those are in there's one subforum on the forums that's public, so you don't even need an account to look at it. So you don't need to worry about your recruit not being signed up on the forums to be able to read those if you send them that link. But each of those just sort of has like a graphic or a little bit of info about the house. So say you're recruiting for House Kilroy, and you don't necessarily have to give them a big write up a big speech about House Kilroy. You can just say, well, I'll just send you this link, and this just has some basic info about it.
All right, sounds cool.
Yeah.
Right. And as I said earlier, if the Earls want to make one for their families, we can pin those in our house chats.
Yeah,
sounds good.
I think the Dippy one is pinned in House Dippity. Let me look. Yes, it is pinned in the House Dippity channel. So I don't know about the other ones, but I believe all of the lords of each house should have permissions to pin stuff if they want to, so if not, let me know.
Oh, okay. Also, one thing I was want to talk about. So, something that we used to participate a lot in was competition with other people and other servers. So we did the Azir 5v5s, and we have dropped it since. And
I was thinking that was like a Azir one for all for a second after you said that, but now I understand.
No, so one thing I kind of want to try to do is to pick that back up. So hopefully we can have some people kind of find some servers that will want some kind of competition. So if anyone out there has a game that they want to play that has a competitive scene or way to be competitive in, if you find a server for that we can reach and get in touch with, we can start throwing up more competitions, for Azir. I think I can get the Battlefly info and password stuff like that from Foldmather, so that we can start having more Warriors of Azir sponsored competitions.
Yeah, I know people have been suggesting that, and honestly, myself, I don't think that I would have time to run the whole thing myself. I can probably cast if you guys need that, but I'd love to do a 5v5 maybe in August, hopefully, like something like in a few weeks here. And I don't know if you just want to run that yourself, Rand. I think I can make you like an admin or something on Battlefy, and it'll just let you make the event and stuff.
Are you available for Tuesdays?
Generally yes. Like
Okay,
every
because
Tuesday?
no, not like once a month. Once a month.
I should be, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, because I have Tuesdays and Thursdays off every single week. So if we can do Tuesdays, that'll be fine with me.
Cool.
Although I'm applying to Pepsi to see if I could start working there, so my schedule may change in the coming months.
Okay.
Pepsi pays almost double what I'm making at Walmart, so hopefully I can get that.
Ooh. Well, one thing I did want to make kind of a general announcement about was I know me and a couple officers have jumped in mostly in Mead Hall about kind of like behavior stuff, like what you can say there, and we have this Niflheim channel now, which is for like not safe for work discussion and stuff like that. So, you know, it's not like people are like, you know, getting banned or demoted or something for like saying the wrong thing or something. It's not that. The idea is just to make sure everyone knows the rules, because I think our handbook, our laws section has gotten more and more extensive, and the big things we've been trying to emphasize are, you know, respecting other people, respecting houses, families, warbands, great companies, all that stuff, respecting other members of WA, all that kind of thing, and that goes everywhere. You know, the other channels are just for not safe for work discussion. That's what they're for. They're not, you know, an excuse to just be a jerk to people or something like that. But I think ultimately what we're gunning for is for WA to be not just like a random, you know, selection of the internet, or like in some of the games we're in where there's a lot of, you know, I mean, it's the internet basically, so people will just say whatever. People say some pretty crazy stuff, and the intention isn't to limit free speech, but the goal is that everyone here can just game and, you know, feel like feel at home here, and that we're all friends here. So, you know, we're trying to, as officers, continue to just kind of step in when we think something crosses the line. But the main things are keeping discussion in Mead Hall and Bifrost as well, although that it isn't used for discussion very often. It's mostly a welcome channel. PG-13 is kind of what the Mead Hall says, and like, you know, profanity and stuff is fine. It's just the topic of discussion that we're gunning for, and also just always like respecting other people and making sure, even in voice, like if you're talking to people and maybe you have like you're like joking with them or something or whatever, it's fine, but just make sure that both people are totally in on it, and that, you know, nobody's feeling uncomfortable, anything like that, just so we can all, I mean, all just hang out and play games together basically, and just, yeah.
Question. Say you're doing all these things and, you know, a new member walks in. What do you do? Like, maybe you don't even realize they slipped in. Maybe they just chilling. They didn't say hi or anything.
Yeah, and that's a good point. That's actually a lot of the purpose of these rules, is that you may be, especially in text, right? If you're joking with somebody and, you know, it's all like fun and good, but then like if somebody else comes in and they read that without any context or anything, they might just say, oh, these guys are just like being total jerks to each other or something like that. And that is the goal, is we want people to join and like not get that impression at all. Just,
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, obviously it's not super easy to know like what will fly and what won't, and that's what I'm saying is just as officers, we're just trying to make sure that everyone feels at home, whether they're new or they're old friends, they're just joking with each other and all that kind of stuff, that everybody's equal, everybody's, you know, just we're all friends here basically.
I mean, just don't talk about politics and religion and stuff like that in chat. You know what I mean? I mean, it's pretty basic on how you can offend someone. Don't talk about anything that's going on in the news right now, and you're pretty much safe.
That's
You
another
know, I mean-
purpose for the Niflheim channel too, is long debates, that kind of thing is taken
Yeah,
that in that
I mean,
channel.
it's pretty just, nothing about certain people's rights or sex issues or, any type of sex, like all the stuff that's going on in the world, whether you're a man or you're a woman or a half woman, half man, if you're gay, if you're whatever color, just don't bring up any of that stuff. You know what I mean? And beyond that, don't put people on blast. And I'm pretty sure no one's going to get offended. And if they are at that point, then you really can't be held liable. And I think it will just be a quick discussion about the misunderstanding, and just then you'll learn from that one person gets offended by that one thing. There's also going to be like time to get to know newbies as well. Like if they're offended the first time, it's their job to kind of pipe up and be like, hey, that kind of offends me. It's how you deal with that. I think that's more important.
Yeah.
That's a whole can of worms that'll probably be fit for Niflheim.
So while we're on this topic, I've heard almost too much, a lot of bashing on autistic people. That's something that we can't forget too. It's not just politics and sex, but a lot of people are talking about, or just fucking totally bashing on autistic people in voice channels and text chat. And I actually just saw somebody be like, hey, I'm autistic, you're not making fun of me, right? And they cleared it up, but I think people need to be more careful about shit like that too, because I think some people have
You
no
would hope
restraint
that would
in
go
that
without
regard.
saying, right? Like,
Well, I would hope that would go without saying, but clearly somebody doesn't know.
Dads, cancer, stuff that's
Yeah.
serious. It's common
I mean,
sense, obvious,
Obviously, like if someone ever says something that makes you uncomfortable, you can always go to an officer there and have it sorted out.
This should always be reported, but there's some things that shouldn't have to be reported. If you're gonna fucking talk about shooting autistic people because they're stupid, then there's something wrong with you, and you need to realize that you're kind of an ass,
at that point.
and
You're
you
asking
need to
for
stop. Yeah, you're asking for punishment right there. There's a difference between joking and just being a terrible person. Like, there's some things that are so over the top that it's just not funny to anybody except maybe you.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. And we just have to make sure that nobody feels uncomfortable, nobody's getting assaulted or anything like that. And I think the idea is not like, oh, you're not allowed to say anything at all. It's just if somebody lets you know, or an officer talks to you, or anything like that, where it is something that would go against the rules, that would be disrespectful. I think I added a couple syllables there. Disrespectful to other people, that can just fix it. It doesn't mean you're going to get banned or something like, oh, you said this, you're gone, and it's nothing like that. It's just trying to make sure that nobody feels uncomfortable or anything like that. That's what you're saying.
All right, so
I'd like to give a shout out. This is like the biggest Fireside chat I've seen.
It might be. Kusiag, do you remember? I know you've archived.
Oh, gosh, let's
amazing,
see. Let's count here. 1, 2, 3.
are you using your fingers?
19.
Who doesn't count with their fingers?
No, my mouse pointer.
Technically,
I
there is a
physically
finger on the
can't
mouse.
Reach my screen. It's like twice the distance of my arm away.
I picture you as like Tony Stark. You're like walking around this like, hologram-filled room.
There's 19 people
God,
right
if
now.
only.
19.
Well, it's a pretty good turnout regardless, for sure. It's funny because we have one viewer on the stream. Like, I think it's probably somebody who's in here anyway.
They're probably hearing echo.
Can I bring your attention to a topic?
Well,
Sure.
go ahead.
So I asked this in Niflheim a few days ago. Humans don't exist. Changed my mind.
Humans? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Let's not troll on the Fireside,
Let-
man.
Please not.
This is
Let's
not the
just
time or
let's
place for
focus.
that.
But,
Alright,
we
so I
literally just
do-
talked about politics actually, and the whole change my mind thing is directly like going to offend people. So it's not. It's just like that was really distasteful. I wouldn't do that.
Wow.
Yeah, let's just save that for another time, and yeah.
Yeah. I actually have Niflheim muted because it triggers me, and I'd rather not get into it.
Right.
And
So-
see, if something offends you, that's what you need to do. Don't let it
No,
offend you.
Do I need to teach a course in how not to get triggered in WA and teach that to people? Like,
I think you also need to teach a course on how to be a
No,
good
that'll trigger
person.
people.
Well, I mean, people can be triggered if they want, as long as they
Yeah,
don't
People
act in
have,
an offensive
like,
way
really
because
strong
of it.
opinions about stuff.
Yeah,
and it's just like,
I think muting channels
I don't
is-
deal with it.
Yeah, I think muting channels is fine. I mean, that's a tool that Discord has available. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing in the handbook that says you have to read everything in every single channel. You know, nobody's obligated to do that. I mean, there's certain things like if you're a Jarl, you should probably read, you know, the all thing or whatever. But I mean, obviously, you know, most of those channels are just for if people want to use them, you know.
So I'd say this on that topic. I mean, I've been in online communities since I was like 12, right? So 18 years now. And when I was younger, I was obviously a lot less mature. So I would get offended by things. I would always be bringing up things. I would always try to fix everything. The one thing you have to realize about a community this large is you're never going to get along with everyone. You're never going to be okay with everything that's said. And you're never going to be okay with everything you see. So any young people here, take it from me, because I'm sure the older people already have this figured out. You are not doing yourself any favors by getting involved in something that offends you. Walk away from it. Mute someone. There are people in this guild that I can't stand. Mostly really, I hate to offend, but really young kids bother me because I have a toddler, and when I come on here, I just need to get away from children. So, no offense, I'm going to mute you, and you're not going to know it. I'm not going to say anything, but it's what you need to do to come here and have fun, and don't ever feel bad about that, you know? And if someone's offended that you muted them, you might find that out in chat. Worst case scenario, you just explain yourself, be like, hey, you were a little loud. You know, you just keep it PR. And it's the same thing with the chats. If you see something you're offended to, mute it. You know, you don't need to look at it.
Yeah.
You upset yourself over something that you can control. This is a place for you to come have fun. You're not required to read that stuff. And if it really does offend you, bring it to an officer. It's the end of story. Just get over it, move on, mute shit. Don't talk to people you don't like. It's fine. You know, be a little bit of a grown up about it. There's a lot of adults in this community. You kind of have to be a bit of a grown up to survive in it. So that's just my 2 cents.
Well, we're on the topic of offending people and proper discussion. I believe it was Solite recently said that houses should not be offending each other anymore. None of that. Is that a thing now? Are we doing that?
Yeah, that's
No
been
more
in the handbook
kissing
for a
each other.
while. It's just, and you know, it's just because I can't remember the specific. There was a specific instance like a month or two ago that kind of led to that discussion on the all thing where that rule was added. But yeah, it's just kind of the feeling like if you know somebody's talking to Meat Hall and they're like, oh, you Commander stinks. You know, I hate House Commander. And then a new member that just joined House Commander is in the Meat Hall and they don't, you know, if you're just joking or whatever, they might not know that. And you know, then that's kind of so that's just kind of the goal of that.
There's a difference between being competitive and being distasteful.
Yeah, that's a great
Yeah, big time.
Definitely. I just haven't seen it enforced yet until that moment, so I was just wondering about it.
Yeah, I mean, and if I apologize if people feel like the rules are not being enforced evenly. I think it's just because there's not always an officer online reading everything. I think we try to, and a lot of these rules, you know, people may not have read the most recent updated rules and they're not aware of it or something. So we're just trying to, as officers, try to, as the whole group of us read everything and try to enforce that stuff whenever we can and inform people about it chiefly.
I think the way the officers have been going about it is that we're not so much as concerned with handing out punishment, more as we're concerned with making sure it doesn't happen again in the future.
Yeah.
True, yeah.
I also want to say other people can step in as well. You know, it doesn't just have to be us.
Like now that I know these rules more, like I'm gonna try to put a stop to things like this more often.
Ideally, I want to encourage people to go to their officers if an instance does arise.
Or their Huskarls.
Yeah, well, Huskarls are officers, right? I changed that.
Not in the rulebook.
No, I updated the rulebook. Remember, to add that.
I'm reading it right now. Thanes are the lowest officer rank.
I'll say this though, when it comes
really?
to chat policing, there's nothing wrong with being friendly, obvious, and just being like, hey, you know, that what you said right there could offend someone. You know, just try to keep
Yeah.
that in mind. Hey, bud,
Exactly.
there's nothing wrong with saying that. You know, you don't need to hand out like, oh, you got to stop that because you could get in trouble. No, just be like, hey, man, let's keep it polite and respectful. You know, I would do
Yeah.
the same for you. And no one's ever going to get mad at you. And if they do, then you know for sure that they're the problem. Because if they're going to respond to you ignorantly while doing bad things and taking it bad from a peer, that's just wrong. And that's definitely officer.
Yeah.
Then so definitely, it's totally fine if someone to just say, hey, bud, you know, keep it cool.
I just realized, yeah, Skull. So if you look under ranks, it says those of rank Huskarl and above are considered officers. But thank you, you pointed this out that I forgot to update it. The rank Thane should not say that. So that's I'll fix that.
So I'm an officer now.
Yes.
Feel free to come to me, guys, if you think anything's wrong.
All right.
What was that, Skull? Could you say that again?
Please, come to me. I'm an officer.
Apparently, Skull missed an entire conversation where Huskarls were.
I was here.
He was the one that brought it up. Weren't you the one that brought it up?
Yeah, it was me. I was just indicating that it wasn't in the rulebook.
Yeah, I forgot that the rank Thane still said that.
Yeah, I'm the one that's been pushing for that like since I became a Huskarl.
Is it only officers, or can lonely plebs help each other out?
If you think someone's out of line, like feel free to like mention, hey, that could be offensive.
We're all a team.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not trying to like police people. We're just trying to keep chat casual.
Yeah, no, I was just messing around. I honestly just joined this channel thinking like there's like a major raid going on, and
Oh, we're doing the bi-weekly Fireside.
never seen this many people in a
I've told you
single
about this,
Discord.
Co. I've told you about this. It's the Fireside. It's important.
Got him.
Got him.
Well,
I've
we've
definitely told you about this.
Well, that makes 20.
There is something
Hey,
I
there
want
you
to
go.
talk about before the fireside ends.
I thought our max was like 24, but I could be mistaken.
I'm not
Fireside,
sure.
Fireside, chat.
Go ahead, Rand.
So, everyone's been talking about it. Everyone's been asking about it. And coming to you today, now that Manigothi's finally here, I've been stalling long enough. A House Dane tradition is about to begin. A new one. So,
It's really good.
Manigothi, if you're here, take it away.
All right, thank you very much, Rand. So basically, what we in House Dane have been kind of cooking up. Really, this did start rather impromptu, but we eventually came to an idea to have a sort of pseudo faction war. Now, as far as I am aware, we don't necessarily have any specific name for it as of this moment. However, what we do have is basically, to make a long story short, for our new House Dane tradition, the Dippities have their relics, and the Camenders have their blood names. Here in House Dane, we will basically be having a war, sort of like the House War that we did a while ago. I can't remember what the name of it was, but
Your thing.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vest. Basically kind of similar to that. However, we will be playing on a proper map in order to, conquer territories. There will be requirements and prerequisites tied to that, prerequisites such as, have a certain number of recruits, participate in this, maybe write something. This gives us the opportunity to, garner some more involvement from members of House Dane. Gives Rand the opportunity to, create some more quests. That way we can, help people get their names, should be a little bit sooner as well, because I know there are a couple people who have been waiting for that. So that's exciting to say the least. Then along with that, this gives us the opportunity to really bump up our recruitment numbers, as numbers are going to be a huge thing in this. To explain the system a little bit, long story short, we will have a map with tiles. The large families.
I love tiles.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be tiles, kitchen tiles too.
Not hex based. What is this?
They're gonna be laminate. They're not even like real tiles. They're like the shitty.
Exactly. But
curling up. At the corner.
basically, I guess tiles might not be the best way to put it, but basically small little territories, right? A map will be divided into small territories, and each of the larger families will have a capital. So right now we're looking at Family Maniling, Family Sealding, and then Family Arvandil. I'm sorry, Goth.
I said you got a problem with large families? Maybe we just eat too much.
Oh well, I'm not. All right, got me there.
I'm just kidding, man. That was a joke.
I was being sarcastic as well, my friend. But basically, to make a long story short, the way this will work is effectively families will be competing in order to take control of tiles or territories, and that will work as a sort of risk-style game. You will have to fulfill certain requirements in order to be able to assault a territory, and then that will generate you resources that you can use in order to barter, possibly pick yourself up some mercenaries. It'll give you the opportunity, those territories that you pick up will generate resources. I believe I just was redundant right there. Along with that, the way that the actual taking of territories and conquest will work is if a territory is already held by another family or another faction, I suppose, you will have to, battle them out, similar to the Hero thing or whatever. I can't remember
it
names
becomes a
right now.
battle battle.
Exactly, it becomes a battle. Defender sides, what's going to be played. For instance, League of Legends 5v5, Summoner's Rift, right? If both parties agree, then they fight. To the winner go the spoils. They get a certain amount of resources, and then along with that, they get to capture the territory in order to help them further their goals. Now, the main reason that we bring this up is because this will not. It will be a House Dane thing. However, it is very much possible for members of WA outside of House Dane to be brought in. So, for instance, I could, perchance, if I didn't have enough Manilings to participate in defending a territory, say from Family Shielding, I could go ahead and I could call on, maybe Kusiag or
me.
or literally anyone, or maybe Ricky, or something like that. Just call upon someone outside of of House Dane in order to help me. That way, I can have enough numbers, and the game can actually progress.
Well, you didn't explain the tile in the middle is going to be a capital.
I don't think we need to go over like every single detail just so fire.
Well, but that's how it works, though. Is through that.
Sure,
Yeah,
but I mean, for the general masses, the concept is that House Dane has a faction war.
Yep, and it's going to be very, very interesting. Now, as of this moment, we are still sort of in the design phase of it. However, as I recall, and Rand, correct me if I'm wrong, please. I do believe we intend on having this out and functional within a relatively short span of time. Then we will actually, participate in a quote-unquote beta test. Just to see how things go, and we can continue to balance things and tweak as as things go along.
You know what? We could have something ready by the 18th, and then have it finished out the last 2 weeks of this month.
Sounds like a good idea.
Sounds like an awesome idea.
I also think it's important that Rand mentioned, or was it Pato that mentioned that just because we're in a certain house doesn't mean anyone, like, we can help each other out, like throw in ideas or anything. I feel like that'd be very helpful since it's like in beta.
Oh, I don't want their ideas.
Yeah,
I mean,
at the end of the day, what we have here, I'll be frank with you. This is going to be a bit of a daunting task, to say the least. Particularly since I doubt that any of us are, I doubt that any of us here in House Dane work for balance teams on, for game devs and such. So it may have a little bit of a rough start. And participation is going to be very important, and any sort of suggestions that we can get from people are going to be very important as well. However, I do believe we will be able to get all these kinks ironed out, as it were. That way we can actually have, a proper functioning tradition for House Dane, and something that everyone can be proud of and enjoy together.
Also, excuse you, Tyler, but I study game balance. That shit's my religion.
I work for Riot Games.
Oh,
we got a bunch of developers here.
Well, then you know
I
nothing
created
about
a
games.
Yeah, I work for Riot, so don't talk to me.
Today I learned. Yikes.
I don't.
That's hilarious. Everyone was on the same page at the same time. You mentioned
I will say, There is one thing that Oshite actually brought up that I did want to touch on, and that is going to be Dane's Citadel. That's the one really specific thing that I wanted to touch on. Basically, to make a long story short, in the center of this map, there is going to be one particular territory called Dane's Citadel. That's where mercenaries can be called upon, right? So, you know, our smaller houses, or not houses, bloody heck, I can't speak English. Our smaller families within House Dane, as well as, you know, other houses, you know, House Deputy, House Camander, House Kilroy, and all. You can all be called upon through either, you know, the spending of resources. I've taken to calling them war assets for the time being. The spending of these war assets, you can be called upon, you know, that way. Or if a particular family has control of that, they can, you know, they can call upon you at any given moment. So, and please note, if you do not want to participate, you do not have to. We will just all be very, very sad and disappointed in you.
Well, I think this sounds like an awesome tradition, but unfortunately, I think it's too cool, and I'll have to put a stop to it.
Yikes! Unfortunate.
Well, boys,
Clearly, this could not have been avoided.
Boys, I told you what would happen. I told y'all what would happen if you denied it. Everyone can have your own families right now.
I told you guys we shouldn't have made it this good.
every house in House Dane now gets their own family, or every person in House Dane gets their own family.
What am I gonna Rebellion, start now. Go, go, go.
Blitz that shit.
Vestborg trademarks the game. Now it's a Dipity thing.
Sell it to Wizards of the Coast. Well, dang, we are running at 55 minutes right now, so I guess it really was a meme, Pato, when I said we didn't have a whole lot, but that's good.
I'm telling you, stop it. Stop saying that.
Well, every time I come in here with like a little text document, you know, with like 4 or 5 things, and like burn through it in like 8 minutes, and I'm like, okay, well.
We
But
didn't even get to the new clan in World of Warships even.
oh yeah, well you can announce that yourself, Chris, since you and Manny, you guys kind of, you know.
Yeah, we're so we formed a new clan in the game of World of Warships. It's free, by the way. You should all download it.
I'm currently downloading it.
Yes, if you look at the archive a couple days ago, or on the first rather, we formed the Admirals of North Shore.
Northern Shore.
Yeah, thank you. And there you can see the Budioni cruiser, I believe, and my Ryuho aircraft carrier, Ryujo, and that was the inaugural battle for us, and so we're all happy, excited to get new recruits. Speaking of recruiting, Manny, for your game for Dane, and it's like Dane Game of Thrones basically. But yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Clan's created, so just hop on. We'll throw you an invite link. Yeah, and we're just gonna grind out. There's a bunch of different resources and buildings we have to build. So you know, that'll build up and benefit everyone at some point. But it's gonna take some while. Gonna take us a while. Take some time. So any help, just a couple days, you want to stop by, help grind out. I think it's oil is the resource we need. That'd be much appreciated.
Not to mention, at the end of the day, World of Warships is a free game. It's very much fun and worth trying out. Along with that, you know, if you don't like it, uninstall.
The key important detail is that it's less tilting than the League. So
indeed,
yes.
Well, that's not saying much.
True.
Okay, it's very much less tilting
Okay.
than the League. Very, very much. I think we played like 6 hours or something stupid on.
Yeah, we were playing for quite a while the other night.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm downloading it.
The big thing is it may very well interest some of you who are into more slower paced games, particularly ones that revolve more around strategy as opposed to being really twitchy. Because World of Warships, at the end of the day, you are dealing with battleships and a navy things aren't as quick. This ain't Call of Duty. It ain't a Twitch shooter.
Yes, they are historically accurate. So if you're into the military stuff as well, definitely check that out.
It is very, very fun.
And there is a World of Warships subforum on our forums now, and you guys are both mods. And I also made a World of Warcraft one. I made Rand mod. I'm not sure if anybody else wants mod stuff on that, but I'm hoping anybody who's kind of trying to set stuff up in a new game, let me know. And if we don't already have a subforum for it, I can add it and I can make you a mod of it too. So if you need our forums as a resource for that, welcome.
I think Wolf and Manny
Bro,
are doing that for Warcraft. Right?
Wolf and Manny?
Yeah. It's Rand and I that are kind of heading the WoW Guild deal.
Oh, okay.
For the moment.
It's Rand who's heading the WoW Guild at the moment.
Okay, listen.
By the way, off topic on the WoW Guild. You're doing it on Darkspear, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Alliance.
Darkspear Alliance.
So I just moved a character over. I spent like $80 today to get a couple large tunes. I got like 500,000 gold to help with the startup.
I'm online now if you want to invite to the Alliance Guild.
I would love it.
All right, you'll have to send me your battle.net stuff.
Question for tags. Like how? Okay. How would so the World of Warships guild has started. I was wondering if there would be like a tag made for it, just to I guess have more members involved if they were to get into it.
It should be WOW.
I believe.
There's already is one. That's gonna be
already
confusing.
have a WoW
Yeah,
players
just bump out the
tag.
WoW one.
I can make just worship players. I don't know.
Who
Yeah,
is
if you
saying
could-
that I need to send them my battle tag, by the way?
Rand Leafer.
Vest, if it's possible, if we could have a World of Warships tag made, you could literally just do WOWS. That'd be perfect.
WoW and WoWs.
Yep.
Wow.
I can. You don't think that might be a little confusing with the World of Warcraft?
That is confusing.
I made
Yeah,
warships
it would be.
players.
Make it
Does
worship.
that work? Or?
That
Warships
works,
are
sure.
good.
Okay.
Warships players works as well. Or do battle boats.
Just
Fine,
send it to you,
too.
Randall.
Battle bit.
Battle rafts.
Fight fleets.
When you accidentally swap channels.
On fleet.
Oh, Manny, I'm still temporary rank, so if you could add me to officer yet, that'd be pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I'll hop on one right now and do that.
Are we about rounded out for Fireside though?
Yeah, we're over an hour. I think we've met the A+ time requirement. So I guess unless anybody has any last things to throw in, we'll probably end the stream at least.
Oh, I think Narion and he was planning to set up a guild for Star Wars: The Old Republic, and it's free. And if anyone wants to join, feel free to download it and get everyone started. Because a lot of us are fairly new too.
I can make a
one
roll for
thing.
that.
So it's all but official, but we're about to also have a Star Wars Old Republic guild formed. Two of my IRL friends will be in it. Skogie will be part of it too. Ricky's trying it out. Sydney's trying it out. Oshi's trying it out.
I'll check it out.
So we've got 4 people who are basically already who are in the clan, and potentially more who are interested. Like I said, it's all but official. The guilds are not quite up yet. We just need 4 people on at the same time.
I'll download it and get on and help you out with it if you want.
Sounds good, Bjorn. Yeah, so pass the word on to anybody who might be interested in that. And then I guess once it's officially official, I'll post it, and then we can get a tag, if that's okay.
Too late. You already have the tag.
Too late. It's done.
Sweetness.
Too late.
I love it.
I'm just finishing this instance in WoW, and then I'll see if I can download that thing for you and see where we go from there.
All right.
Yeah, Reek, send me an invite with you, Kim.
Are you gonna? Oh, you're turning around me for
What's that?
That was my bad. I was responding to Gothmather, but I realized he was talking to someone.
Dude, I don't think this quest is supposed to be like this. What the heck?
What the hell's going on in here?
Fireside. All right. Well, I think we're about finished up with the stream. So
Joe's here. We need to go.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and sign off. Thank you guys for showing up. I think this is a record turnout, or pretty close. And yeah, I think pretty productive. So we'll see you guys next week.
Baby.